volume? Okay, that's more like it. Time to feed these hungry, you know, Steam Deck fans. Oh, by the way, hello viewers. Mornings. Another beautiful day. Yeah. Hope your five senses work. Health and strength is good or excellent. Good. All right. Let's see. What can I give these Steam Deck fans here? What can I give them in the morning? Okay. Let me start off with the AMD fans real quick. Listen to this. Give them some AMD news. Says this for Linux. Says here AMD posts new mitigation handling for Srso Inception. Says here AMD Linux engineer Borislav Petkov kicked off new week by volleying a patch for adjusting the speculative return of stacks overflow, Srso aka Inception, vulnerability mitigation handling for capabilities to be found with affected processors running on newer microcode. Said the Srso Inception, as a reminder, was made public in August 2023 as a vulnerability with AMD GPUs from Zen 1 to Zen 4 per kernel org documentation. As a refresher, then it says AMD CPU predicts return instruction using a return address predictor, aka return address, aka it says in parentheses, aka return address stack / return stack buffer. In some cases, a non-architectural call instructions, i.e. an instruction predicted to be a call but is not actually a call, close parentheses, and it says can create an entry in the wrap which may be used to predict the target of a subsequent return instruction. It says here the specific circumstance that lead to this varies by microarchitecture, but the concern is that an attacker can mistrain the CPU BTB to predict the non-actual call instruction in kernel space and use this to control the speculative target of a subsequent kernel potential leading information disclosure via speculative side channel. Well, these engineers are on top of it. It says here, while AMD Zen 5 on Linux has been reporting not affected to the Srso / Inception vulnerability, today's kernel patch may help better control the Srso mitigation for Srso_user_kernel_no, and they're both in quotes. So it'd be Srso_user_kernel_no, and then quotes. It says here for indicating the CPU is not subjected to Srso across kernel boundaries, and then it says and quotes Srso_MSR_fix says for indicating that software can use BP spec reduced path for mitigation Srso, and then it says the patch for Petkov explained if the machine has CPU ID FN 8000_0021_EXA, and then you have two brackets in 30, and then you have another parentheses with Srso_user_kernel_no, close parentheses. Then it says if this bit is 1, is indicate the CPU is not subject to Srso vulnerability across user / kernel boundaries. Have it fall back to IBPB and VM exit only. In the case it's going to run VMS, speculative return stacks overflow, and CPU user / kernel transition protects, falling back to IBP /on /VM exit speculative return stacks overflow mitigation, and then it says IBP on VM exit only, and then it says thereupon KMV module load in case the machine has CPU ID and FN 8000 underscore 0021 underscore exact, and then brackets 31, and then another parentheses with SRSO underscore MSR underscore fix. It says if this bit is 1, it indicates that software may use MSR BP underscore CFG, and then in brackets it has BP spec reduce to mitigate SRSO. Enabling this BPS spec reduce bit to mitigate SRSO across guest host boundaries. And then it says both SRSO kernels, and it said both SRSO user kernel no and SRSO MSR and then fix are mentioned in this February 2024 white paper on a technical update around SRSO. It's not clear though why it has taken 1.5 years for Linux kernel to be now adapted for the new SRSO MSR fix and SRSO user kernel and then no capabilities. In any event, this kernel patch is now out for review on the kernel mailing list to adapt the SRSO mitigation. Look, they said on this it talks about it's not clear why it taken 1.5 years for the Linux kernel to be adapted for new SRSO fix, and then it says and SRSO user kernel and no capabilities. Well, sometimes the reason why it takes so long, there's maybe the developers, are trying to figure out, like how does this apply to the one technology wise, one AMD wise, one hardware wise, one software wise, and how does it protect your system from being hacked? So it's a lot of research that goes into this when these devs bring up these new instructions. It's a lot of thought process, a lot of analyzing, a lot of understanding, a lot of communication back and forth. Like, okay, how does this work? On a Linux standpoint, how does it benefit the user? How does it benefit businesses? How does it prevent your system from being like hacked or whatever? So it's a lot of communication that goes into this, man. These engineers, they work. Make no mistake, man. These hardware engineers, software engineers, computer engineers, programmers, network engineers, they work, man. So yeah, it's a lot of work that goes into this, man. So problems do come up, and it's like, okay, go back to the drawing board with this with this line of code and try to figure it out. So they work, man. So this is a nice little update for you AMD Linux nerds. So I'll keep you in the loop. I'm gonna be spending more time in Pharonics on Pharonics, reading up on stuff and see what's the meaning behind all this. But anyway, you guys are good. News, deals, games, update, the usual. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this video for y'all to enjoy though. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still Star Wars, Star Trek thing, or Dark Side. Go. Peace.